So, good morning everybody and welcome to our webinar What's New in iGrafx 2015. My colleague Stefan Hessenbruch is with me. He's Manager Professional Services at iGrafx, and today he will present you our new version and he will demonstrate the newest features of iGrafx 2015. So today's session is being recorded, of course, and you will receive the links to the recorded webinar afterwards. And should you have any questions during the webinar, so please write them in the chat and questions window you can see, and we will try to answer the questions right after the webinar. And shouldn't we have any time to do this after this webinar, then we will do it offline, of course. So Stefan, let's start, and I will hand over to you.
Thank you. Warm welcome also from my side to everyone. I'm really happy to present today the latest features in iGrafx 2015 and what we are able to provide to you. The most important points you can already see on the screen here. We are talking about process automation, process narrative, role-based portal, and the SAP global template integration. So let's start with process automation and what can you think of within the iGrafx landscape. In process automation, we thought this is the next logical step of what iGrafx is doing for a very long time now. Business process modeling, management, and business process analysis. This was the main topics on the list in our history, and a lot of customers requested from us, and also we thought it might be a very interesting thing to go from planning, modeling, analysis into the execution of processes, and this is what we are talking about here. We implemented a life cycle for the process automation. Means you can design a process in the tools you already know from iGrafx. This can start with an iGrafx flowcharter up to the process for SAP. What needs to be done here is pretty easy. You need to create a BPMN diagram, enrich it with some more information that is needed for automating the process. I will show that in a second in the diagram directly. And then you can implement that process into a workflow engine and run instances of that process as many as you want. And with those instances running, when people are working in the workflow, data is created, and this can be monitored and analyzed, so you have the possibility to see what's going on in the instances of these processes, what time does it take, how many instances are on which activity, and that helps you to improve the whole system. With the ideas you get from the data, you can go into process automation, redesign your process, implement a new version of it, and so on. So that closes the life cycle, and yeah, it helps you to automate it really easily from existing models, and it enables the process owners to control the definitions, drive the implementation, and monitor process performance to adapt. I provided a standard BPMN diagram here to demonstrate how we can use that to deploy this to a workflow engine and execute it. Before we can do that, this must be created. We use standard procedures like creating a new BPMN diagram, and from there use the standard iGrafx technology to design the workflow, put in text, gateways, and so on. So I prepared that already. To be able to really execute it and deploy it to workflow engine, we need to fill some more property fields. In the properties for the swim lanes, for example, I'm able to define who can do the activities in that swim lane. This can be a single user, as you can see here, or I could use a complete group of people. For example, if I have a definition of the HR group on our server for the workflow engine, any person of that group can get the activity and work on it. Now I would like to keep it with my own name, so it's easier for me and I do not have to switch logins. Good, so all that is done in here in the swim lanes. We also, of course, have properties available for the automation on the existing shapes. So here, for example, who is the owner of the process? Who is able to start an instance of the process? Who can deploy a new version of the process to the workflow engine? Some description, smart form. And the smart form, by the way, is a very powerful thing because I can start a process and the user who gets the first activity or starts the process gets a form on his screen and can fill in some data, use radio buttons and so on, give information that is later used while we process that workflow. We will see in a second what that a smart form definition is doing for us. Okay, let's have a look on the first activity. Right now, I have 2 tasks in that activity. So, yes, an activity can consist of more than just one task. So to create a personal profile, that's my activity for my onboarding process, scan the CV and scan the photo are 2 different tasks that belong to the same activity. I have a duration time that defines how long I have time to perform that activity. So this is done in all the other shapes too, and here in the email we also see an extension on how we can use external systems to put some more data from the smart form into fields and then put it onto an email, send it to an email server and out into the world. This kind of connect is done on the workflow engine server that knows what our external email server is. In the same fashion, we could use activities to completely automate access to other systems to write in data or to use data from other systems in our workflow, so from SQL databases or, well, any other system that provides an interface that we can work with. Good, my process is fine so far. It's my onboarding process to get new people on board. So I create that personal profile, send an email to the person, then we organize a desk, and in the IT department they create a network account. Later we ask if hardware is needed, yes or no. If yes, we will order the hardware and finally archive the personal profile. Everything's done, the process ends here. Let me put that on the workflow engine. First, I would like to validate the process. If this is fine, and validation checker without errors, so seems to be fine, I deploy it to the workflow engine. I have to put in my credentials to log into that system. It checks if I'm allowed to deploy it, if I'm a deployer, and then the deployment ends. That's it. And let me switch to the front end of the system. So this is a complete cloud-based solution, so we can use a standard browser to access that system. I'm logging in now as a process manager client, and as a process manager I am able to start new instances and to have a look on all the instances running in my system where I have the right to see all the things. Now I have my onboarding process here, and I would like to start a new instance of the third version of my workflow. Now I can give it a new name here, so I would like to call it onboarding process Picard. So a new person named Picard is coming into our company, and I put in, and this is the smart form now, I put in some information about that person. So it's Jean-Luc Picard, and the email is picard@starfleet.is. He needs hardware, and I can put some information on that in here. I think I already got Mr. Picard in my other instances list, but let's assume his brother is arriving, Jean-Paul. Okay. So as you can see, I have several instances running, and this is the latest I just started at 5:34. If I click on that instance, you can see what activity is to do now, and in the live view of the process model you can see where we are in that instance of the process. If I want to see other instances down here, you can see that Mr. Kirk here is already getting his desk organized, so this activity is here, and I can do that for all the processes. If I want to get an overview, what instances do we have running right now, you can see this here, and in that monitoring part of the system you can also see how many activities are done in parallel on what part of my process workflow. So all the important information is here within the manager's client. Now let me log off and go back into the system as a to-do user. So I log in, and I'm a standard to-do client, and you can see that I have a lot of activities in my list to do. Some of those I don't have much time left. Here 15 minutes, here 30 minutes, and here 8 hours for the latest arrival with Mr. Picard. And I would like to continue working on that list. Now let me pick the latest entry for that example. I need to scan the photo, for example. If I want to go to that task, I can just click on it. I see all the properties here, scan the photo. I'm able to upload documents. So for example, I can just click on that, pick a file. Let me take that little picture, give a description, upload the document, and the document is now attached to my task and is available to other people that might catch the task later in the process. Okay, all these things are in the system, controlled by the workflow engine. Now, I think I've done the scanning of the photo, so I just mark the radio button here, and the system accepts that I have done it so far. So the second task on the same activity, you can still see on the live view where we are. Still here, if I check that and say, yes, I've done it, then the system jumps ahead. So Mr. Picard, let's have a look in the live view model. The email was sent automatically, so no interaction was needed by myself. And now we have the parallel path for organizing the desk and create a network account. So this is done by IT, this is done by the HR department. Because I have my user in both, I see all the tasks in my list. If that would really be a different group, the IT persons, it would not appear in my list, but in the list of all the users that are dedicated to this department. So this is how the system works on the workflow engine, and how I can see all the things I need to do, and how the process manager, as you've seen before, can get an overview of all the things going on in the system. So what it really helps with when you implement a workflow like that is to structure the flow, and usually it reduces the throughput time dramatically, and it increases transparency, because the process manager client always shows what transactions you have in the system, what instances are running, how many tasks need to be done on what activity, and so on. So the monitoring is perfect to see bottlenecks right away and to be able to make changes to that. The next big point in iGrafx 2015 is a process narrative. We have had requests from customers that they have people that don't have access to a system, to a browser. So Web Central is already a fine system that allows people to get the latest information with a click on a screen. But what about the people that don't have screens available? They would like to have some possibility to get all the information that is important to a process in a document that can be printed out. In Web Central, we have a lot of information. So let me switch to Web Central. In diagrams and in objects on a diagram. So for example, if I go on a process object in my repository to have a little look on that, you can see that an object contains a diagram, and we have relationships to other objects. Even within a diagram, you can have more information and relationships. So if I go down on a diagram in the system here, you can see several other relationships that are provided in here. So all that information in the diagram, who is accountable, what kind of measurements do we have, performance indicators, do we have requirements to fulfill here, all that is defined in the shapes or in objects and their relationships. Now, to get all that in one document, we invented that process narrative, and here is how it works. Again, I can go in my usual working environment that can be anything from Flowcharter up to Process for SAP. And just open the diagram of your choice so you have it on the screen, and you will get menu entry file publish as, and here we have the process narrative in Word. Now I can choose a document that I have here, so you can have various template folders where you can use that. I pick a template that we already provided, click OK, and this Word template is used to create all the information in a nice and easy to read document. Now, while that is processing, you have the control over the Word document, so it's your choice what kind of logo you would like to have in there. How does the layout look like? What kind of headline text style you want to have, and so on. So in that process diagram I have here, you see the diagram is put into the document. I have tables that show me every single activity connected with the RACI information, so who is accountable, who is responsible. We have connected documents in here as links, so you can see what documents are important to these process steps. And again, you can define on your own if the layout is vertically like here or if it should be horizontally. And we have a glossary on all the relationships to resources that are used that could have a description in here, a list of all the documents that are important to the process and where it is contained. I have the history of the document with all the versions that we had, and again a big diagram. Now the templates are stored in Word template files. Now if I would like to have another kind of template used, I just go back in here, choose another one. For example, I would like to see the document history, start that, and you will get a complete different Word document that is opening in a second. And this will show the data that was defined in that. Okay, you see it's a different style now. It looks a little different. We see approval record, the history again. This time we have a table with all the diagram described objects. Here the shape list. This time the RACI is horizontally and not vertically. So these are the possibilities we have in here. And where did the data come from? Let me have a short look on how a template is defined. This is the latest one we had. Oh, now I started anew. So this is how it works. We have placeholders in here, and those placeholders are connected to bookmarks, and these bookmarks know where to pull the data from. So the bookmark names, we have different tags that can pull data from the iGrafx Process Central repository, and if we do that, those tables are auto-filled with all the data connected to the diagram I had open on my screen. So it's very handy because the creation of the Word template is really extremely flexible. You can place your own standards text in there. You can use those placeholders and bookmarks to fill data from the database, from the properties of shapes, and yeah, you can reuse that again and again for hundreds of diagrams if needed. So that's a very nice other new feature that we have in that version. So describe critical information, yeah, and customize the look and feel of the template to do that. Now, another point that we would like to repeat here in iGrafx 2015 is the possibility to define a role-based portal. The standard that most customers have on their screen is a standard homepage that can be defined so that people jump on a top-level view of the process repository and the process landscape. Now, we also have a personal view that can be activated, and that is shown when you have this little guy here on your screen. Now, to get that, you need to open the administrative page. That can be done by an administrator in your company. Go on the different links that are available here, and you can then go to the resource homepage and enable that. As soon as this is done, it shows here on the screen, and any person that is logged into the system with a real username and that has a connection to a person object in the repository, this is the information how we tie that together. And then if I log in with my username, I instantly can see my personal connection to any object in the database. So I can see which processes and activities I am accountable for, I need to be informed about, I'm responsible for, all the company's strategies, goal and measures. I'm responsible, accountable, consulted and informed, and some other stuff. So you can see your different roles that you have in the environment of your enterprise. So a lot of valuable information that is role or person based. So that's another thing we would like to point out, that this is available in iGrafx 2015. And last but not least, SAP Global Template Integration. That was also requested by several customers to provide that. So you can control templates on a single place for global SAP implementations. You can have those SAP template projects and use that in the context of your enterprise business architecture. These can be edited and managed to push the changes into the local implementation, and also pushing it into the global implementation to reinforce the standardization across geographies. That makes people working in that process easy to get the standards they defined in one place all over the world in big implementations of SAP systems. Well, that was the presentation for today. We have shown the major points here, maybe some more points that might be helpful. Intelligent custom indicators. Maybe I switch one more time in the tool to show that. We have several properties in shapes in diagrams that show indicators, like you can see here. I have a measurement, a risk, a control indicator. Now, the new thing here is that we can define indicators not only by show up if there is an indicator. We can make that, let me check out the diagram, dependent on a value if the indicator is shown or not. That means if I go in Format Diagram and I would like to add a new indicator, display indicator based on field, so I'm able to pull a field, for example, a business rules block. Okay. And I would like that the indicator shows up if the field value equals or field value contains, and so on. So you have a variety of things you can look for: field value, smaller as, smaller equals, and so on, and then put a value in here, and if that value is hit or above or lower, we can control if the shape looks different. So for example, we have a different fill color gradient that goes from red to yellow, something like that, to show a warning. And the shape will then, if the value is hit or the processing is done, it will show in a different color. So you can very easily show important data in a diagram by using these new features, by using these intelligent custom indicators. Predefined pagination for browser printing. The pagination that is used in Flowcharter that you can find here. So I would like to have, for example, an A4 page in portrait 100%. Then you can see the page breaks, and I can force now that these page breaks are used from Web Central when I print a diagram. So if I go on a diagram here, have a look to that, and if I go on my print button, whatever the setting was that was done in iGrafx Flowcharter when this diagram was designed, it will be used also in the web printout, which is also a very nice new feature because that was not possible before. And language is fine. If you have multiple languages defined in diagrams, you can easily find the text over the different languages that we had in one and the same diagram. So iGrafx is capable to define separate languages if I need another language for my diagram. So for example, German, okay, add, and I want to define other languages, we can do that here. And these secondary languages can also be found in here. If you have huge diagrams, you can search for the text, and of course also the end user, if somebody searches the database with the full text search capabilities we have here, also secondary languages can be found. Okay, that's for today's presentation. That were the new features of iGrafx 2015. We think it's very helpful, especially the process automation is a new functionality that we have available that is extremely helpful to go forward and optimize processes in the company. Thank you very much for attending,
Stefan?
and have a nice day.
Stefan, sorry to interrupt you. So maybe we can spend a few minutes to answer 2 or 3 questions. I know it's we are already over the time, but just to answer 3 or 4 questions, I just read them, and maybe you can answer them. Okay?
Sure.
Okay, so let's start with the first one. Can the system trigger a task in another system, such as triggering a SAP ERP job, a SAP BW job, an Oracle task, either online or in background?
So I guess we are talking about process automation if when we have a workflow, if that workflow can trigger something else. The answer is yes, it can. Let me show you a more sophisticated process I should have available on my system. That was the onboarding. Here, that's, oh, I thought it's in English, in German, but it's also in English. I have connections to other systems here. So, for example, we connected the automation to an action handler that is outside that calls a Word template and fills in data that was defined in a smart form up here. In a later task, we are connecting to our emailing system to write an email that is using fields from the smart form that we used in the first activity here. So yes, we can connect to other systems. These are easy ones now, of course, a Word and an email system, but we can connect to any other system too that needs to be defined in the activities. So we can use an action handler. We open the interface to another system to trigger something there. We need to have a closer look at what that system is, how we can connect to it to trigger something there, but basically that's definitely possible, and it's already done on various customer sites.
Okay, great, thanks. So the next question, next question. Can I start application from a step that will, for instance, make a scan for me?
Yeah, that's pretty much the same technology. You can get those tasks to people like I've shown, that you get those tasks in your task list. A person knows what to do. You can also trigger that this task is not done by a human, that this task is completely automated, connects to another system, reads data out of a database, writes data into an Oracle database, for example, or triggers an event in another system so that an SAP transaction is called and it's doing something, for example. This can be done, and if you want to trigger a scan copier automatically from that workflow, well, if that scan system has the ability to catch events from the outside, means that there is an interface that we can use, then we can do it.
Okay, so next question is how to identify the bottleneck.
The bottleneck where?
That's the question. So it was at 10:18. So maybe we can discuss this question offline, and I will connect you with the person who asked the question. So I think that would be better. So next question is, I have installed the desktop products 2015 on my computer, but the narrative option is not available. What do I have to do to activate this option?
Okay. We are still working on the quality assurance of that option. It should be available within the next days, and it can be downloaded and added in as an extension to the standard flowcharter. I'm not sure about the path on how that is done and published. I guess we will have that information in a newsletter, so the receivers of our newsletter will be informed that it is available.
Okay, thank you, Stefan. Another question is, are also Word templates available where you can report properties like business rules, resources, work products, etc. related to activities?
Yes, absolutely. All that information is directly accessible. There is also some documentation coming with it. I don't know if we publish that information. It is planned that iGrafx provides several standard templates with the system, and if a customer wants to have a more complex build up of a template that pulls data, we can offer help on designing that, offer help on how to get access to the different objects in the repository that is connected to the diagram. So no matter if we have data defined in here, data like RACI here or measurements directly in an activity, or if that activity is connected to an object in the database and that object has the relationships, we can pull all that data via that technology and show it in a Word template.
Okay, thank you. So does the role-based view also support groups?
The role-based portal is always a personal view on an employee, for example. So let me switch back to the system here. If I go on those employees, you can see all the data in here. Let me go back to my name here. And I can see what my role is. Now, if I switch to the role, I can see that the role is allocated to some other things. But if you have other people connected to that role, you could also see that on the role what the resources are. And if you're interested in, these are all the things the role is doing, so you could call that a group. And if you want to see what the single persons within that role are doing, we can go, for example, here on add, and now you can see add has two different roles, and now I have the view of what add is doing within his different roles. So that is possible here. If we are talking of Active Directory groups, if that is the idea behind that, we don't have something like that implemented right now.
Okay, and can users now also subscribe themselves to pages in Web Central?
No, this is not a feature in 2015. We are planning that feature in a later version of iGrafx.
Okay. Next question is the documentation option able to produce HTML output versus Word?
At the moment, we only had always requests from customers to get that into Word documents. Directly lead it into HTML is not possible, but we need to discuss the request from that customer, because HTML or a website, we already have that in our Web Central. So if somebody wants to inform himself using a browser, why not directly accessing Web Central, because all the data is already here. But maybe we can discuss that offline.
Okay, so there are two other questions left. The first one is, if I have a Flowcharter 2015 or process for Six Sigma, what extra has to be included to be able to utilize the presented new things?
Yes, we have a license for that workflow engine, so this needs to be purchased and installed to get it to run. As soon as the workflow engine server is installed in the customer environment, we have an extension for the standard flowcharter that will enable these automation menus, and that will enable these extra properties we need for the automation. As said, it's an extra license that a customer can purchase. If you are a maintenance customer, that means we have a maintenance contract with your company, then you already have the right to install the workflow engine in your environment. It is allowed to define one process for automation and up to 10 users to use it for free, as said, only for maintenance customers, and we could use that perfectly for a proof of a concept kind of thing, or if 10 users is fine for you, you could already design your process, implement it, and run as many instances as you want. Of course, some help is needed in the very beginning. The system must be installed, implemented, your people need to be trained. We offer that as a service to enable you running that.
All right. So the last question is, would it be possible for a group of people, when they open the Web Central, all in the group, role, help desk, get a default homepage?
Well, this again is a definition. If I want that as my standard homepage in the Web Central configuration, this can be done. Use My Home as default landing page. It's this little switch. If you put that on, this is always the default landing page.
Okay, I think that was it. So thanks a lot for your attendance, and thank you, Stefan, for the introduction. So should you have any other question, please contact us anytime and we can explain that offline. And now I wish you a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.